Pop Punk and Pizza podcast is presented by Pop Punk Takeout, which is a monthly subscription service that delivers merchandise from pop punk bands from all over the world directly to your door inside a takeout box. You can choose between a pizza box version or a Chinese takeout box version. You can sign up today at poppunktakeout.com and also follow them on Facebook, Twitter, and TikTok at Pop Punk Takeout. Good evening. I'm Jacques Lamour, your host for Pop Punk and Pizza. I am so happy to have you here. And if you're watching the live stream right now, I apologize for being late. I had just altered my setup a little bit here in the studio. Did not go as planned, which, that's exactly what happens when you try to tweak something that you've perfected, but you want to make it even better. And, that kind of thing happens. But luckily, our guests have been very patient with us tonight. We're going to be talking to some good friends of mine who were on the podcast last year, except this time they're actually in the studio with me, which marks the first time in 2 years that I've had the legit sit down with the band and eat pizza while we talk face to face. So I'm super excited to welcome Bluprint back onto the show. But before we do, we have a very special treat, another artist that is from the Chicagoland area, and that is Blind Adam and the Federal League. We're going to be welcoming Adam himself right now on Pop Punk and Pizza. Welcome, Adam.
Hello, welcome to you. Thanks for, thanks for having me. We made it here to this point. We've been sitting here for a half hour. We got it,
dude.
And there's no echo.
There's no echo. So the problem I've been having, just to give everyone a little backstory, is in order to accommodate in-person guests, I was trying to hook up another camera up to my current setup, and that's where the echo problem was coming in. Even though I was muting one mic on one of the cameras, they would just start canceling each other out, so that echo would just not go away. So I'm just gonna have to figure that out at another time. I don't know because I had tested that out beforehand, and for some reason when it came time to actually do the live stream, it was like, nope, sorry, I'm not going to work. Screw you.
That's the way it goes.
Yeah, that's exactly the way it goes. But I am so excited. Adam, is it Gogola? Is that how your last name is pronounced?
Gogola. Yeah, close.
Gogola.
Close. Yeah, you didn't put any extra letters in there. People like to do that sometimes.
Do they like to do, well, I guess Gogola makes a lot more sense because it's like go. Yeah. Than la. Yeah. Is that Italian?
Polish, actually.
Polish. Okay, that makes more sense. That's something I'm always fascinated by, where people's last names come from and all that. So it's something I always ask, and I wonder if someone that listens to the podcast on a regular basis is rolling their eyes oh, really? Jacques again is asking where their name comes from. I've always been fascinated with things like that. But you're based in the city of Chicago. You just dropped your second album, An Act of Desperation, which was released through AF Records, which it seems like AF Records gets quite a few Chicago acts on its label, which is really awesome to see. I would say you're probably the newest one to have been welcomed onto Anti-Flag's label. So how did that come about for Blind Adam?
Well, the guys in Anti-Flag have been close friends of mine for a very long time. And when I was a young punk rock kid going to shows when I was 14 years old, 15 years old, they were one of my favorite bands at the time. And I loved the way their music sounded, but what was more exciting for me was the way that they engaged political and social issues, not only with what they said, but there was always a table for local organizations like Food Not Bombs or Amnesty International or whatever other anti-fascist and social justice organizations might want a table. They'd give them the time and the space to do it, and then they'd also be hanging out after the show, talking to everybody and um, whatever, just making new friends and kind of trading ideas and thoughts with people. And this is before people had, everyone carried a cell phone, and so it wasn't even about like taking selfies or anything. And after I was waiting for my dad to pick me up after a show one time that had gotten moved from the Metro to the Cubby Bear in December of 2000, and it was pretty cold outside Chicago in December at that point, pre climate change devastation. December was still
Yeah.
cold.
Yeah, I mean, we were still dealing with that at that time, but it wasn't like it is now. You
Yeah,
know,
now we get it all like in a month in February or whatever.
yeah, yeah, exactly.
Uh,
Yep.
but Chris had, who was like the quietest guy in the band, saw me standing out there, and like I had said hello to him earlier by the merch table, and he told me that if I didn't want to wait outside, I could come back in and maybe help him carry some gear or whatever. And I
Yeah.
did that, and we exchanged contact information, email addresses then, and maybe a cell phone number that they had like the one cell phone for the whole band or something. And every time they came to Chicago, yeah, man, every time they came to Chicago after that, we hung out, and they've always been very supportive of my music, and they've always been a good resource for me. But this is the first official like full record I've put out with AF Records.
So you said you were a teenager at that time?
Yeah, like 14. Chris is he's
Or
about exactly 10 years older than me. So he was like in his early 20s, and I was, he was like 24, and I was about 14, I think. And they were just like, why is this kid standing out here freezing?
yeah. Wow, that's so cool. Something, and I mean, I don't know about every single punk band in history, especially when it comes to bands that are similar, like Anti-Flag, when it comes to being very political and pretty much having your whole catalog based on that, or the majority of it anyway. But I feel like, unlike punk bands that came before them that were political, it seems like Anti-Flag actually tried to do something about it instead of
Yeah,
just saying. I just feel like the more well-known bands before them were just kind of like, yeah, fuck so and so, and that was it. But I feel like Anti-Flag really created this movement with their fan base and really showed like they put actions to their words, I guess.
yeah. I think I've come to think of Anti-Flag more as like they're like a traveling mutual aid network with like a soundtrack party. But the like the fun party aspect of it is very important. But that's kind of like it's like a traveling circus of like anarchists and socialists and people that want to make the world better and have a good time while doing it. And I think that's always been really appealing to me. They're a wild band. They're one of the crazy bands to see live still.
I was gonna say they put on a hell of a show, and yeah, still to this day, as they get older. I mean, they were just at Riot Fest in Chicago, right?
Yeah,
And
and people
Chris
playing
number
Uno in the
two,
pit.
yeah, and Chris number two though, he still does his huge, ginormous, punk jumps and everything. It's like
Yeah, I think that dude's
it's
made out of
crazy.
like silly putty and springs or something.
I think you're right, and I always, why am I forgetting the drummer's name?
Pat?
Uh, Pat?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, Pat. I always thought he was entertaining to watch because he'd always make the funniest faces while he's playing drums. But so you met and started forming this relationship with Chris number two and Anti-Flag as a young kid. So if, were you involved as a musician at that time when you first met them at age 14, or was it just shortly after that?
I had a band then called Article 57. We were from kind of like the Plainfield Joliet area in the early 2000s.
Okay. Yeah.
And then I was also like trying to figure out how to get involved in activism. So you could go to an anti-flag show and like learn how to get involved in activism and meet other people. I met the dude that produced, or not produced, I'm sorry, he produced our 7-inch Mansions on the Boulevard that we put out before this, but he mastered this album, and He also mastered our first record, Joe Tassoni. He owns Mystery Street Recording. I met him at an Anti-Flag show in 1999, and these are like wild connections. And I've been involved in music since then, and also activism and going to shows and kind of like connecting it all through. I feel like this record is kind of like a culmination of all of that stuff that's been part of my life for the last 20 years, I guess.
Yeah. I would imagine though for the last 20 years though, how many times did you kind of pitch your work to Chris number 2 because AF Records has been around since about that time, right?
Yeah. So my old band, Article 57, we really tried hard to get Anti-Flag to put something out for us on AF Records. We were like still kind of at the end of high school, and we had been playing like regionally for a few years. Like even before we could drive, our parents would drive us around, and we like wrote and recorded our first like original album when we were either at the end of our freshman year or beginning of sophomore year of high school with Damn Precision from 88 Fingers Louie, and we just kind of like figured out how to do everything, by talking to people that had been doing it and kind of seeing the examples of people that came before us. And we had really great resources like Damn Precision of like 88 and Rise Against, and then all the other bands he's been a part of since then, and the Anti-Flag guys. And AF Records was doing pretty good back in the early 2000s, and
Yeah.
I think that I think maybe timing didn't work out because we weren't able to do like full on 3 or 4 week tours yet.
Mm.
Um, and then by the time we got out of high school, that band Article 57 did like a long summer tour, and on that tour we met this producer. He was like a pop music producer named Dallas Austin in Georgia, and he's produced like Boys to Men and Madonna and
Wow.
yeah, whatever. But he was going to start like a rock label and wanted us to come out and play a showcase. So I was talking with Chris Head from Anti-Flag a lot back then. Like he was giving me advice that was just before they were about to sign to a major, so they were kind of like, he had a lot of good insight on that. So the AF Records just never really worked out. And then the last band I was in, the Night Brigade, we put out a record with the help of AF Records, Chris Head, or the help of Chris Head personally, I guess. But AF wasn't putting out other bands' music at the time. They were just putting out like Anti-Flag stuff that wasn't on whatever label they would be on at the time.
Sure.
And AF wasn't really rejuvenated as a label that put out their band's music until after that band broke up, and Chris Stowe was the one that did that.
Okay.
So this was just kind of the first time it worked out, I guess.
Yeah, and what made it work out this time though? After I'm sure you tried several times over the years to be like, "Hey, Chris, what do you think, man?" What made it work this time?
So between the point my last band, Night Brigade, kind of fell apart or ended, that was like 2013, and the Blind Item and the Federal League, there was about 4 years or so, maybe almost 5 years. Started this band in 2017, but we didn't really start playing shows until like late 2017, early 2018, and then we put out our first record pretty quick. We recorded that whole first album before we even played a show. They were just kind of songs that I'd been working on, and then I showed Alex, our bassist, and then our drummer at the time, Mike Guzman. I was like, I had these songs. I think I want to start a new band and try to give it another shot, and have some fun and put some records out. And so we wrote and recorded that one before we had played a show, and I sent it to those guys, and they they gave me their notes on it, and they said, keep doing it for a while, and not just like make a record, but play some shows and get out there and get after it, and write some more songs, and then we'll talk and put a record out. So that's what we did for a couple of years, and we played all over the Midwest, and out east a little bit and down south some. And we haven't toured the whole country, but we've gone west of the Mississippi a few times, and we've got certain cities that we hit pretty regularly, but we started coming up with a decent amount of songs. And whenever I'd see Anti-Flag on the road, or when they were in Chicago, or if I was in Pittsburgh visiting, I'd be talking to Chris too about it, and just kind of going back and forth on ideas. And we sent him all the demos that we had, and what would that have been? That would have been like early summer of 2019. It's hard for me to remember timelines anymore after the last
Yeah,
couple
I
of years.
know, right?
but
Yep.
but it was just kind of like it was kind of like an ongoing conversation really since the time that I started this band. I asked if AF would be interested in putting our first record out, and it wasn't that they didn't want to work with us. It was just like, you haven't done anything with this band at all yet, so let's develop it a little bit and then kind of sharpen everything up and knock the rust off. And then I sent, after talking about what it would be like to work in the studio with Chris for a couple of years, I sent him the demos and we booked out some time and in their little studio in Pittsburgh. Well, they actually just moved out of that one. They bought a building, so they'll have a nicer and newer studio here soon. But yeah, we sent him the demos and he made his notes, and we went out there for 2 days in August of 2019 and did pre-production, and we just went through every single song for about 2 or 3 hours and tore it apart and rebuilt it, and then we cut a quick demo of it. We did that for 2 days, and then we came back to Chicago for about a month and a half, and then we got like tightened up on everything with the new song structures, and then we went out there again for about a week in October, and we knocked it out, and we were hoping that it was going to be out in like late spring, early summer of 2020, and here we are now.
Yeah, I thought for sure you were going to tell me like that you got the chance to finally record once COVID hit, because it, probably freed up Chris 2's time and all that. But this all happened beforehand, and then you just kind of sat on the record until this year.
Yeah, I mean, we had a really busy year lined up last year. We were like slated to play Fest in Gainesville. We were talking to Riot Fest Presents about doing our record release show at Cobra Lounge at the end of June or beginning of July, and then I was working on like a 10-day West Coast run and 10-day East Coast run, and then you could do our like little 4-day runs around the Midwest. And we were really looking at making 2020 like a super busy year with a record coming out, and and then COVID happened. As soon as COVID happened, we started doing a weekly live stream called the Quarantine Live Stream, and we had different artists from AF Records and people like Ben Nichols from Lucero was on it, and Sarah Shook and the Disarmers, Austin Lucas. A bunch of people were on it, and we were raising money for different like mutual aid organizations and different like kind of like anarchist science lab that was making COVID test kits at the very beginning, and then also like they were using 3D printers to make PPE to give out to healthcare workers and stuff. So we were just like doing what we could to support that, and then we took a break from that. And when we took a break from that, the video of George Floyd being murdered by Derek Chauvin and the Minneapolis police came out, and we were trying to figure out what to do with the record. So I was talking to Chris Stowe, the label manager, and Chris too, and we were just like, let's maybe wait till we can play shows. And that date kept getting pushed back, and then we got so busy working with like mutual aid projects in Chicago and like marching and all the marches that were going on last summer, that putting the record out wasn't even really a thought for a few months, really.
Yeah, everyone was so preoccupied. It was like, how can we possibly think about putting a record out right now? No, not just the fact that you're all involved, but let's say even if you weren't involved in the marches and just in all the social justice movements and things going on, it's still a matter of who's going to really pay attention. How is this really going to stick? So
I still feel like that.
Yeah, because this year it's like 2021 has been like 2020, except like things are happening, but it's still chaos.
I think it's been worse for me mentally. I think because last year it felt like we were doing something, and now it's just like, it's like it felt like collectively all of these people were working together to like flip everything upside down and build a better world. And now it's just like get back to normal life, but like clearly it's not normal.
Yeah.
There's still a lot of people dying, and you still have to take into consideration, like we've had to make hard decisions on shows because we're all vaccinated and we've done everything as close to the right way or whatever this whole time as we can, but we were pretty actively booking out of town shows at the beginning of the summer because it was looking like things were getting better, and now I haven't even really tried to book any out of town shows, and we've actually been having tough conversations amongst ourselves and deciding to cancel some.
Yeah.
So it's still like it feels good to have the record out, and we've had a really great response, and just like getting to do things like this and talk to you has been great. But it's not as much fun as pre-COVID when you put the record out and you're playing a bunch of shows and having a good time celebrating with everybody.
Yeah, I hear you, man, and it's so rough. My heart goes out every time I'm seeing some of the smaller bands go out on the road and hit up the clubs, and they have to leave the tour for so many nights because they contracted COVID, even though they've been vaccinated. I mean, obviously, being vaccinated doesn't say you're not going to get it. You just won't. It protects you pretty much from death, but it sucks. Like
Yeah,
because
our bassist Alex had it like 3 weeks ago or about a month ago.
Yeah.
I'm
So
sorry to interrupt you.
No, you're fine. And that's the thing. It's like you got to make a buck though, for some of
Right.
these people, and it's just, yeah, it sucks. But hopefully maybe next year.
Yeah, I mean, I had fun at
So
Riot Fest, and we played our record release show with it was a great show. Our friend Kyle put it on, Soothsayer Hot Sauce, and it was like us, Dopamines, and Oscar Bait, and the Eradicator. I'm sorry, I spaced out. But
no, it's okay.
it's like it was a great night, and we had a great time for sure, and it was like super cathartic, but it just flew by. It was like a second. We
Yeah.
haven't done it. That was our first like real full band show in almost 2 years. It's crazy.
Yep. Yep. And now you are still playing. You're booked up for Fest, right? This year you're supposed to play Fest, or did you guys decide to get off that?
Well, that is an email that I need to send this week actually, because we had a show earlier. We had a show last weekend in Joliet. We played a friend of mine has an organization called Warehouse Workers for Justice, and we played one of their outdoor events, and we just had a conversation in the van. I think we are leaning towards seeing if we can play next year because
Yeah.
Florida is not looking good, and even if no one contracts COVID, if anything else happens, their hospitals are all full. So these are
Yeah, and then you still got to get down there. There's still the logistics.
Right, exactly. So it's a tough call, but I think that's what we're hoping that we can play next year. I hope they will have us then, and I need to send that email because I didn't mean to break that news on a live podcast.
That's okay. I'm sure they're going to understand. They're not going to be like, "What? How dare they?"
Yeah.
Like I can't imagine that happening. But regardless, everyone needs to go. Excuse me. Everyone needs to go listen to Blind Atom and the Federal League. Their brand new record out right now, An Act of Desperation, via AF Records. Chris #2 did such a great job producing this record. It's such a step. Not. I mean, your first record was absolutely awesome as well, but this just it kicks it up a notch and smacks you in the face, and I absolutely love it. So, thank you for working hard on that and letting us all listen to it.
Thank you. And real quick, if you are in the Chicago area, we are playing the Copyrights record release show on October 24th at Sleeping Village, and that's going to be a good one. Masks and vaccines, and let's have a good time.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, that's great, man.
Yeah, if you're in the Chicago area, let me know. I'll put you on the guest list or whatever.
Yeah, I live just an hour south of Chicago.
Email me if you want to come to that show. We'll figure it out.
Cool, man. Thanks so much. That means a lot. So I appreciate that. And yeah, maybe next time we talk, it'll be in person.
That'd be
So,
great.
but uh, but yeah, I'm grateful for your time, Adam. Where can by the way, where can everyone find Blind Adam online?
I mean, if you search Blind Adam, you'll either find any of our social media stuff, or there's some comedian in Ohio that makes fun of blind people with that name. But if you type
Oh,
in, yeah,
that's
look him up.
that's
Talk trash to him.
comforting.
Yeah, talk shit to him if you want. But he's
Yeah.
yeah, just Spotify, any of the streaming services. Instagram is Blind Adam Federal, and then we're on Facebook. But I've been trying to figure out how to use social media only for music promote stuff anymore.
Yeah.
We're on Twitter, but we don't really use it. I think it's at Blind Adam FL. But yeah, find us on any of those. Send us a message, and we'll see you at a show. If we can do a show safely, we will.
Awesome. Sounds good. And are you cool if I play Drier Ground right now?
I'm cool with you playing any of our songs anytime you want for whatever reason.
Awesome. I just figured it'd be a good way to close out. So, Adam, thank you again, and have yourself a great night.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me.
And thank you for being so patient too.
Oh,
I'm really
absolutely.
grateful for that. So thank you. Thank you so much.
Here comes the war again. It don't care about your sins. We stand beside me for the line. For us and all our friends, including those we haven't met, it's gonna take us all to stay alive. Walking with the land and learning its history. Figure out a way to see that everybody eats. We'll hold our spirits higher than we hold this rotten order. We'll tear it down. Finally rest our feet on dry ground. What if we had kids? We always dreamed we did. How could we hold them close and kiss their eyes? Amongst hostility, amongst climate catastrophe. One day brings us dirty water, the next day brings us trouble. There's another way. We can't just drink our better days. Stand and fight, we need to hold the line. Working with the land to hold back these rising seas. Work out something better for our co-prosperity. We'll hold our spirits higher than we hold business as usual. And finally rest our feet on dry ground. On dry ground, dry ground. Finally rest our feet on dry ground, on dry ground, on dry ground. We finally rest our feet on dry ground, on dry ground, on dry ground. We finally rest our feet on dry ground, on dry ground, on dry ground. We finally rest our feet on dry. We finally rest our feet on dry ground. Finally rest our feet on dry ground. On dry ground. On dry ground. Finally rest our feet on dry ground. On dry ground. On dry ground. Finally rest our feet on dry ground. On dry ground. On dry ground. Finally rest our feet on dry ground.
Okay, Drier Ground by Blind Adam and the Federal League here on Pop Punk and Pizza Podcast. Once again, their brand new record, An Act of Desperation, out Friday. It is out. What am I saying? It's already out. It was released last month. via AF Records, which is Anti-Flag's record label. Thank you again to Adam for being on. That was a lot of fun. Before I introduce a group of guys that I've known for probably half of my life, actually, now that I think about it, which is really cool to realize. Before I welcome Bluprint onto the show, once again, Pop Punk Takeout. They are our title sponsor, and they're the coolest title sponsor we could ever have, because what they do is they have a subscription service to where you can sign up for to get a pizza takeout box or a Chinese food takeout box delivered to your door every single month. Not with food in it, even better than food, and that is pop punk merchandise from pop punk artists from all over the world. It's delivered directly to your door. Some of the boxes in recent months have included exclusive items from MXPX, Chris the Manx of Less Than Jake, Keep Flying, and so many others. So make sure you sign up right now at poppunktakeout.com, and also follow them on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok at Pop Punk Takeout. And yeah, without further ado, let's give a big warm welcome to Bluprint. Welcome, guys. Oh, I got to turn your mics on. See, this is as I said, this is the first. All right, let's try that again. Oh, there we go.
Check.
Okay.
Oh yeah, I'm hot.
All right. Let's try Tyler.
Yo.
You got anything, Tyler?
Testing.
Keep trying.
Testing.
That's
A
weird.
little bit. Oh, no.
Oh, wait a minute.
Testing.
All right, try now.
Test. There we
Oh,
go.
there he is.
Got some
man.
juice.
He's there
I
now.
am so sorry. It's just been a nutty.
Check.
It's been a nutty time.
Technology.
What's going on here? Yeah.
Check. Yeah, that's fine.
You can hear everybody except
Ye-
me. Oh, no.
Check.
All right.
There we go. I can hear myself now.
There we go. Check.
Now there's something weird. Yeah, I don't know. Things sound weird now, don't they? I don't know
A little
why.
hot.
Stop
Oh.
breathing into the mic, Josh.
That was the invader.
That's why. There we go.
Look, I had some gain
All
on
right.
the voice.
Well, so anyway, we have Josh, Tyler, and wait,
Yeah, I was waiting for you to correct that one.
Taylor. Oh my gosh.
Hey, our
We
names
don't
are
correct
similar.
people anymore.
Yeah, we just
My kid calls them both
we're
Tyler.
past it. Way past it.
All right.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I'm for some reason.
Check. I think I hear. There we go.
Okay,
that's
I
him.
am so sorry.
Check.
Oh, you're good.
See, this is the first podcast, in-person podcast in 2 years. So it's showing right now how rusty I am with actually having a band in the studio with me. But I'm so glad it's you guys, because we got a chance to catch up last year. You were on the podcast, but that was all via Zoom.
Yeah.
And we got to catch up a little bit then. So I guess to summarize for those that haven't heard that episode from last year, the band started in Colorado, but all of you are originally from the Kankakee area, which is where I'm from and based where we're at right now. You all recently moved back from Colorado, and I think when we talked, Josh was here. He had just gotten back.
Yeah, it was Tyler, it was me, and then Taylor.
Taylor, I think he was still in Colorado.
Yeah, I was still in Colorado.
Taylor was still in Colorado. Tyler, you were back?
Yeah, I was back.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I
he was the
thought it
first one back.
Oh, okay. I thought. Oh, it was a hush thing. I think is what it was, and that's why I didn't.
Not anymore.
Not anymore. No.
Yeah, I was
no,
the last one
definitely not.
out.
And Taylor, excuse me, was the last one out. So I'm glad you guys are back home, and I'm so sorry that I missed you at Festival
All good.
that was here in Kankakee. But how did that go?
It was awesome.
Yeah.
I can't really remember last time we had something like that here locally. I mean, we've had shows, but nothing with that many genres. That, every artist that went on the stage was pretty much different
Yeah.
from in both stages, and everyone was super kind, and it was well organized. It was clean. There weren't any issues. So it was, everyone takes a stab at Kankakee that there's nothing to do, and when there is something to do, it's kind of like shoddy, but they did a really good job. So.
Yeah, it looked like for a first year, it sounded like it went off really well.
Yeah, definitely.
And the fact that there was another festival besides Merchant Street that was happening, I was like, oh, that's awesome. That's cool. Even though it's not a 2-day thing like Merchant Street Music Fest is in Kankakee, it was still cool that there was another like 1-day festival happening.
And it was music nonstop the whole day. The second stage and the first stage were going off at the same time, and they were pretty close together, so you could easily walk to one stage to the next and catch both of your favorite artists, or just artists you're checking out, whatever the case. Yeah, really well put together. I was actually very pleasantly surprised. I didn't think it was going to be, a disaster or anything like that, but it was the opposite. It was really great.
Now, when was the last time you played in the Kankakee area? I mean, I know you've played in the Chicago.
Yeah.
You've played in the Chicago area since then, but like, when was the last? And it would have been.
It wasn't Bluprint.
No, and it would have been at Riff's End, right?
Yeah.
And that was so. To go even further back, I know Bluprint from we used to play together in the Kankakee scene. You guys were in a band called At Riff's End. I was in the Projection, and we played shows together all the time, and it was always such a great time. So fun. Some of the best memories of my life are from that scene at that time. And then, everyone just kind of, you grow up, everyone kind of starts doing their own thing, but then, you guys are still doing it, not at Riff's End, but you're doing it in Bluprint, which is spectacular. But yeah, I bet it was probably the early 2010s,
2014.
right?
I think.
Yeah,
2014.
I remember we played a show. I think it was with Goodbye Fate. It was their like release, and it was at Hidden Cove.
That was the
which
last
is now the
official one.
Flex, and
Yeah.
we played there. and I think
You really think that was the last
that
one?
was
Because I
one
would
of
have.
one of the last ones.
we
Yeah.
did a
we had a
couple
Kyle
shows.
Ritchie benefit show for one of our friends that
Okay.
passed, and we did a benefit concert there, and that was
Yeah,
around the
that
same
was
time.
the last official. No,
We did a couple
basement
shows
show.
after we moved back.
yeah.
Well, technically,
you know what?
we were on tour, and we came through. We played in
Bloomington, yeah.
Right, you've played in the.
So that was a couple years ago, but I guess if we're talking like Kankakee area.
No, I mean specifically
Yeah,
the Kankakee
that was the
area
first
where
time
you
in
guys.
probably it'd be over 10 years.
Well, no, because after we moved to Colorado, we did play like 3 or 4, a handful of shows before we officially broke up.
Yeah, we
Because-
played. The last one was we played at
It's hard to
Sammy's in
remember.
2014 without our lead singer and not practicing, and it was a nightmare.
It didn't go
It
very
was
well.
a
so
nightmare.
you guys played without Haley.
Yeah, we're like, we're going to hang it up.
Yeah,
We
I
basically
think it was
did.
good. It was good because us three, and then Austin got to play together. But at the
Yeah.
end, I think all of us were unanimous. Like, all right, we're forcing this. Like,
Yeah, we kind of put it to rest.
I remember
after that.
talking in the cafeteria like senior year, being like, "All right, what are we doing? Are we doing this?
Yeah.
Are we moving to Denver? All right, cool, that's the plan." And all 5 of us were all down. And then graduation happened, and the summer happened, and everybody kind of just,
like you
veered
said,
that-
to
people
what they
grow
wanted
up
to
and do their thing.
Yeah, so
Exactly.
that's what happened. I didn't realize all of you were planning on moving there.
I mean, I believe that was planned.
I mean, 3 out of 5 isn't bad.
Austin was
Yeah.
there for a while too.
Yeah, we were. I mean, we were
We talked about
like,
it.
slightly naive at the time, being so young. But
Yeah.
at Riff's End, we felt like it was just kind of turning this corner where we started to feel like we were getting good. Because at first, you don't know what you're doing.
Well, no, of course not.
And then we moved to Colorado, and I don't think we realized then how big of a commitment that was because we were 18. We were like, we don't have any commitments. So
Yeah,
just
what's
show
the
up.
big, yeah, what's
We'll
the big
just
deal?
show
It's
up
a-
and-
Get
just-
to point A and B
just-
safely.
Yeah, we'll show up there. I'll get a job at McDonald's, and away we go.
That's
Because I think
that's
back-
literally what I
yeah,
did.
Yeah, that's what-
See, that's what I'm saying.
and I
Like,
think back now, like the members that didn't make it out or didn't stay out, like I don't blame them.
yeah.
That's a
Yeah.
huge deal to do that.
Oh hell yeah,
More now
and,
than ever.
No
it's
hard
more
feelings.
and it's not
understandable.
like you're driving 3 or 4 hours
Right.
to move somewhere else in the state or a nearby state. You're not moving to Indiana or Wisconsin. You're moving to Colorado.
We knew no one,
Yeah.
just each other, really.
Yeah, I remember packing up all of our stuff in his Taurus, me and Tyler, and we drove 19 years old, drove out all the way up and through Granby and Winter Park in the mountains, and it just we made it there in like 17 hours too. We were just
Oh my
85
gosh.
miles an hour
Hauling.
the whole way, like
Dude.
80, on
Dude.
80 all the way to Colorado. Man, it was a sight to see for sure. getting out of your hometown, and then open your eyes and you're in the mountains with no guardrails on next to you, and it's just
Sketchy.
You and the earth.
Wild, man, wild. I was thinking about how, I mean, you've done pretty. I mean, Tyler specifically, you've done pretty well for yourself with that move to Colorado with the company you've got hooked up with now.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I
I
mean-
started a company out there. I mean, had a kid out there. I loved my time in Colorado for sure. And I don't know if I'll ever be back out there permanently again, but I still love going out there. But yeah, I mean, I was there for 9 years, and for 8 3/4 of it felt like home. But it was towards the end, it was nice to, things change. I'm almost be 28 this year with 2 kids, and the reasons I went out there in the first place, I didn't hold those same reasons anymore. So it was interesting because I felt like I moved out there and left for the same reason. It was like a change of pace and a different scenery. So it's funny how things change. But yeah, Colorado treated me, and I think these guys can agree, it treated us great.
Yeah, we all had great times. We all learned a lot. And all of us were basically out there more or less for 7 to 9 years between the 3 of us. And we all learned a lot, and I kind of agree. By the time we actually came back here, it was for a lot of the same reasons, as far as just like wanting to be by family and like that kind of thing.
The parents getting older, wanting to spend some quality time with them, as well as make a better life for your kid, or your family, that is. So
Yeah, and what really goes along well with it is your latest single you released, Home. And I don't know if that has anything to do with coming back, moving from Colorado back to Illinois.
not directly in correlation with, but definitely it hits on all the points and like what we're going through personally in our lives, for sure.
Yeah.
I kind of think it was like a dream come true, kind of with the single and the music coming out, because we recorded a while back down in El Paso, Texas, at Sonic Ranch, which was an unbelievable experience.
I think you guys, when we talked, I think you just wrapped up,
Yeah.
I think, or
Yeah.
you were about to go
Yeah,
last year.
it's been we recorded a year ago.
Yeah. And now you're just finally releasing,
Yeah.
singles.
It's been kind of
and-
like, what do we do? Do we release an album? Do we do a single? Do we wait?
And our biggest thing is like, can we catch attention right now and like keep
Right.
it?
Yeah, that's been one of the biggest topics.
Because
And
we're not
actually-
like a polarizing band. We're not going to do like crazy things to catch your attention and like.
Why not? You got to do those crazy TikTok challenges,
Yeah,
man.
no,
You know.
not really us.
I think I know I tagged. I think Taylor is the one that has the TikTok for the band. At least I saw your name come up. I think I definitely tagged you guys. I can't remember if I started following you, but I finally started a TikTok, and I feel like a grandpa, like on this
TikTok is
TikTok
amazing.
thing.
Yeah.
We just started doing like real marketing through TikTok, and I'm like a big analytics guy. I like the business side of music, and is the fastest app to 1 billion users. ever.
Yeah, in 3 years.
Yeah.
I think that just happened this last week. I was reading that, and that just blew my mind.
So there's something to it.
I feel you though, Jake. It's hard to keep up with all the trends and all the new songs, and it's like,
Well,
you're listening to the commercials on TV, and you're like, wait, I just heard this on TikTok. Like, what's happening with society? Like,
Yeah.
TikTok is everything now.
right, it really is, and that's why I was like, well, I better get with it,
Yeah.
Yeah,
Especially,
I started a TikTok called Cover More.
yeah, that's
Cover more.
right. And you got sick. Are you okay now? You feeling better?
Or are you talking about earlier in the?
That was like last year, I think,
Oh
or
my
was it
God.
earlier
I won't
this
go into
year?
much detail,
But you don't
but-
have to
Your
go into
face.
detail.
Had a
But
little
are you
operation.
feeling? You feeling
I'm totally,
okay?
Yeah, I'm totally
Okay.
fine now. Recouping from the medical bills. Everyone knows how that goes.
Oh God, yeah.
But yeah, I just had a little scare. I was in the hospital for a while, and it was my first time being in the hospital, so that's always kind of like, uncertain, you know what
Yeah.
I mean? Kind of a little scary, but I think it definitely made me a better person. It toughened me up a lot, and it made me definitely appreciate life and the people in my life and the things I have. When you go through experiences like that, it's easy from the other side to say that. But yeah, everything's all good. I started that. I tried to start Cover More as a way to promote the band through TikTok. Because I have played gigs on the side, for covers and things like that and whatnot, and enjoy it. And so put it out there and be like, yo, come check out our band Bluprint too. We've got originals and yeah.
So you started to pick that back up again.
Mm-hmm.
And what are some of the covers you've been putting out?
Oh, I do All Time Low to I did a John Waite cover. I've done a Day to Remember one. I've done a country one. I did Keith Urban. I mean, I grew up on country music. I was born in Nashville, lived there for 2 years when I was a kid, moved here.
Oh, I didn't
grew
know
up in
that.
Illinois.
I always
My dad went there to try and make it in the bluegrass industry when I was a kid, country folk stuff. He was talking to a record label at the time when my mom was pregnant with me, I believe, and ended up not working out. So he and her both stayed in a hotel. She cleaned to live there, and he was the maintenance guy. So they got to live there for free in a motel in Nashville. My dad tried to make it, and he just took care of the pool. He fixed people's stuff, and then my mom was housekeeping, and she cleaned, and they got to live there for free. So while I was like a year or 2 years old, that was going on. And then we came here, bought the house that I grew up in, and yeah, been there, and now I'm here.
Josh has this crazy skill. He can just kind of like learn a song after hearing it once.
Yeah,
Doesn't he? I don't even comprehend it.
That's a gift, man.
Yeah.
That's such a gift. And
People are like, just you read tabs. I'm like, not particularly. I mean, I know how to if I try, but man, it's a lot easier for me to just figure out the chords
by ear.
Figure it out,
yeah,
man.
yeah. I've done a lot of learning that way too.
Always
but-
overthink stuff, and it's like you don't have to do it like that. I mean, you're not tracking in the studio.
I'm like the king at overthinking things. I
Yeah.
do it all the time. I'm just so good at it.
It's part of becoming an adult too. We all start overthinking even more, I feel.
Yeah, well, I don't know. I feel like actually my overthinking has gotten better. It still happens a lot, but I think it was actually worse when I was younger. But I definitely still overthink like crazy when it comes to songwriting or even just playing someone else's music.
Yeah.
That I still overthink that, and I think it's because I don't want to screw it up. You know.
Right.
Yeah.
But so while I was talking to Adam from Blind Adam and the Federal League, you guys were eating pizza because that's what we do here.
Yeah.
Finally, after 2 years, there's a band in front of me eating pizza, which is what this is all about.
Chicago Dough, baby.
It's
Yeah,
Chicago
shout out.
Dough, and I was hearing, I think it was Josh, somebody, I was hearing you guys like, man, I forgot how good this is.
Yeah,
like
I think it's
so
because
good.
you get it you get it delivery, or you buy it in the restaurant. It's fire, and sometimes you go to the buffet and it's a little dried out. I mean, growing up, we've eaten that stuff as a kid growing up, so I mean, we know. And then I was just in Colorado literally a week ago, and we stopped by the Marquee Theater, and they have a pizza place right on the side of it. And
Oh, yeah.
man, oh man,
You've played there.
I didn't play there, but I was there. I was that was when I was working for another band.
That's
I was
right.
selling their merch, but yeah, that was the one experience I have of Colorado. And I remember we were going to go to that famous burrito place too, that gives
Illegal Pete's.
yes,
Yeah,
and they
my
give
friend works there.
they give I don't know if they still do, but they used to give free burritos to touring musicians.
Yeah, I think they do.
Yeah, if you're coming through, you stop, you don't have any money, they'll give you a free meal. Pretty
Yeah,
sure.
and I don't know if I don't think at least I never made it there. I don't know if anyone else from the band I was with actually made it there that day, but it was widely talked about.
Yeah, I think it's like $3 a slice, and it's as
And
big
then
as
the
the plate.
pizza,
They give
yeah.
you 2 plates for it. It's one
Oh,
piece
wow.
of pizza,
That's
so
huge.
and yeah, I think to do a deal too, it's like $8 or something. You get a Paps and a piece of pizza for like $7 or $8.
Yeah, you can't beat that. No, you definitely can't. Is it?
And it's
is-
open till like 3:00 in the morning, so a lot of
Going
people,
back.
you're downtown. It's like, hey, it's 1:30 in the morning, everywhere's closed. Hey, let's just
Yeah.
walk down the street and get a slice.
Well,
And
I
that's
mean, you're going to be doing that because you are going back and playing a show in Colorado with a red jumpsuit apparatus. That's in
In like a week.
That's
It
what we-
is in
yeah,
a week.
yeah. We
That's
leave in a
right. Because
week today.
did you guys find a van?
No.
You're looking for no luck.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
help us out. These guys are looking for a van to borrow for what, like a week?
Nah,
No,
4 days.
for
4
We're
days.
there,
Well,
man.
that's close
Yeah.
enough to.
We'll take whatever.
We have a
Yeah.
backup plan, but a van would be nice.
Yeah, that would definitely be nice, especially if you could borrow it from a person and not a company,
Yeah.
because the
Companies don't borrow things.
Well, it's
They-
you're gonna rent it, but
Yeah.
it's gonna be so much money.
Yeah.
Whereas like you can find a guy, be like, yeah, give me $200. It's cool.
Right.
It's
We need that guy.
It's
If
like,
you're
yeah.
that guy, give us
Right,
a
it's
call.
like I
Yeah,
can
please.
be it's like I can do $200. I can't do $1,000 or $2,000, but I can do $200.
Yeah, man.
bucks.
Put some gas in it while you're gone. Give me $100. And
Yeah,
Call
so
it a
We're
yeah.
gonna buy one soon. But
Yeah, we're starting to have
yeah.
those conversations about buying one now because we're to the point we can't just put 2,000 miles on our car here and there.
Right.
Like we need to have something for the band, especially if we want to play out a lot, which is the plan.
Yeah. And so I know was that Colorado show planned and then got rescheduled. I know the one that was in Joliet, Illinois here was, or maybe that whole
was
tour,
right.
was-
dates on
You're
the
right.
tour.
Yeah.
that whole tour was probably,
It was like a week
post-
period or something through a couple states, but I thought all the other ones stayed the same.
Yeah, this
Oh,
one
okay.
stayed the same.
The one got postponed
fortunately.
in Illinois at the Forge in Joliet, but the one at the Marquee, and then they're playing as well the night before, I believe, at the Black Sheep in the Springs.
oh, okay.
Colorado.
So a little funny story about that actually, and hopefully the promoters
Yeah.
aren't listening. The promoter.
All right. If you are listening, just skip this part.
So the promoter in the Illinois show and the promoter at the Colorado show both think we're local bands,
Well, I mean,
and we are.
We're not
Yeah.
because we
lying.
draw on both.
right.
What matters is that we sell tickets.
Yeah,
ultimately
right.
these guys.
I mean, you
Technically,
really.
we are
I mean,
local. You started the band in Denver.
Yeah, the band started in Denver. You just happen to have moved to
Right.
Illinois.
We're just crazy enough
I mean,
to
every
pack
band's
up and
do that
drive out
nowadays.
for one. We originally, the plan was to build some shows around it. We weren't able to, but we're at the point where the band, where it's like, if it's going to positively impact us at all, we're down.
Yeah.
So we're like, yeah, we'll plan the trip. We'll go. Everything's digital nowadays, so we just hit fans up and sell them tickets digitally, Venmo, whatever. And yeah, we felt like it was the last two shows we played with Red Jumpsuit were amazing.
Sold out.
They were
back to
sold out
back, yeah.
shows. Yeah, they went really well. So, have you guys started building any type of relationship with Red Jumpsuit at all?
The guitarist and I spoke a while that night at the Marquee when we played back to back. His name's Josh. too.
Josh, okay. I wasn't sure if it was.
Really, really cool guy. Really, really good guitarist. Watched their set the second night, side stage, like the whole time. Kind of just, you always do that as another musician. You like to, not nitpick per se, but you like to sit there and, you like to be a little overcritical. And then when you're surprised, you're like, oh, crap, they do that. That's dope.
Yeah.
Then you get that impression feel. You're like, oh, man, you made an impression on me. Like, you guys are really good. And, everyone goes up, hey, man, good set. Hey, man, I just want to tell you, good set. It's like, go up to somebody, I want to be like, hey man, that was amazing. I was paying attention to that song number 2 when you did that, and they're like, oh man, really? Like, you noticed that stuff? I'm like, yeah.
Josh is so good from Red Jumpsuit. He's such an amazing player. Randy's such a great guy too. Their other guitarist.
We're
But
just road warriors at this point.
Yeah.
man.
Oh,
They're just
yeah.
like-
The drummer's super
They
cool
definitely
too. Him
are.
and my mom were kicking it at the show.
were they
Marquee and
really?
chilling. Yeah, it was
Who's their
cool.
drummer now? Is it John?
Oh,
Because
remember.
since I first met them almost 10 years ago, they've had a couple different drummers
pretty sure it was a
with
fill-in
them.
drummer for the tour. I think.
I want to say it was a fill-in too.
Yeah, we're
There's
not-
actually been, I think, if I'm not mistaken, there's been 2 different drummers named John within like the last 7 or 8 years. So like you might say, oh yeah, it was John, but I'm going to be like, well, which
Right.
John was it?
Yeah, we're trying to
Um,
build a relationship with them just because their model kind of mimics what we're trying to do. They don't do like 30 days straight, just the big, huge hauls. They're family guys too, so they'll go out and really hit that Wednesday through Sunday really hard, which is something we're trying to do as the new year comes. And not because we won't do the 30-day stuff, but, with COVID and kids, we feel like if we're out for a segmented period of times and something goes wrong, God
Yeah.
forbid one of us gets COVID, it's easy to take yourself out of that situation, and then it's easy to reschedule. The 30 and 45-day hauls right now, it's like when something goes bad, it
Well,
really screws
right.
up the
Yeah.
schedule.
Oh,
Still hard to make those commitments right now.
It absolutely is, but if you can get a relationship going with Red Jumpsuit, I mean, they're after the 2-week tour I did with them back in 2013, just all really nice guys.
for
They'll
sure.
they take good care of their support bands.
Mm-hmm.
They're very good to them.
And they take a lot of the same guys out. Like,
Yeah,
The lead
yeah, they
singer,
do.
he's Ronnie. He'll produce an album for a band, and then he'll take them on the road.
Yep,
so
I've
he'll
seen
be
that.
full circle. But we're definitely trying to build a relationship with them, and really our goal with playing the show there and here was to show them like, hey, we're willing to put the work in. We're willing to drive across the country, even if it's just for one show, because we see the value in Red Jumpsuit, obviously, and we hope they see the value in us with this new record, especially. And we just want to prove to people across the country, but specifically in these markets. Like, we'll put the work in if you give us a chance.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're not guaranteed to be asked to play an awesome show like that in Denver again, so we have to take the opportunity, and keep building on it.
That's true. It's like it's hard to say like if and when that'll happen again.
Just treat it like it's the last one.
Just,
make it
well,
count.
that's every show, right?
Yeah.
You got to treat it like it's your last one. So, but Home, your latest single came out. Was that last week or the week before? It's recent.
like 12 days ago, I
Yeah,
think.
12 days ago. It's got over 25,000 views on YouTube, which is very good. The video's great. It's so funny, like that you had Blaine Smith do it, because
He's talented.
he's talented, and he's also someone that I met when I was like 10 years old.
Same.
In the music scene, in Kankakee, and it's cool to see what he's doing nowadays. And also this, Sean O'Keefe, and you also worked with
Mark Rose.
Mark Rose as well,
He
and I
produced the record.
can hear Mark's signature on
I'm
Home.
sure you can.
I can hear it because like the first time it opened, it's like this sounds like something, and I'm like, oh, I know it. It reminded me of, not like to where it's like, oh, this is a Spitalfield song, but you knew like he was involved in it, and that's
There was
not a
a lot
bad
of
thing.
And if you really listen to Mark's solo stuff too, you can hear some of that on our record as well. Like just his ideas. It fits well with what we were going for. So
Yeah, no, it sounds. I love Home. It's got a big sound to it. It's very full. It catches you. It's you guys definitely
Thanks, man.
picked. Yeah, you're welcome. You definitely picked the right people to do some tunes with. So I'm
Oh, yeah.
super excited to hear more of them. And I know you guys were wanting to play one on the podcast tonight, or two. You're more than welcome to. We can do that right now if you want. It's
Cool.
totally up to you guys.
We could play Home.
Yeah, I mean, whichever ones that you were like preparing for,
Yeah.
we can
That's
we can make that happen now. So, so go ahead and we can. We didn't have time to to set up beforehand, so let's just go ahead and do it now.
Cool.
So,
Cool.
Yeah.
You think I'll to plug one in?
Yeah.
I think it'll be loud enough, don't you think?
I would. I was gonna say you can use my acoustic electric right behind you.
Only issues
If
with
you-
tune to C.
Oh, you're tuned to C? Okay. Yeah, that's cool. Not a problem. We got you.
And just forewarning, we don't do this often. As far as acoustic goes.
Dude,
It's
all right.
It's all good, man. So this will be yours. Cool. And you can plug into the white one.
This one doesn't plug in. That's the only issue.
Oh,
Will the
that's
mic
right.
catch
I'm
it?
sorry, I forgot. Yeah, are you singing at all?
No.
Okay, we'll just put the mic to your guitar there. Everyone gets to see the scenes right now.
hello.
This is how
Hey, it's been 2 years since you did something like this. You deserve a little bit of leeway.
it's working. I hope so.
In the beginning.
Yep.
Are you plugged in, Josh?
I heard it and then it went away. I've got his in my headphones. I've got his in my headphones, but I don't got the guitar. Yeah, I do.
I just put new strings on.
Check,
so I'm
check.
Overly critical of tuning.
Can I just get a little bit more of the mic in my headphones? Yeah. Awesome. Perfect. Check. Yeah, he brought the egg.
I have an egg.
The egg of destiny there. Been making puns about it all night, dude. He's like, all right, let's test the egg.
Let's mic up the egg.
Let's mic up the egg.
Well, I mean, you can if you want, but yeah, whenever you guys are ready. So you guys are playing Home.
We're gonna play Home.
All right, let's hear Home by Bluprint.
One, two, 1, 2, 3. I ran down the sidewalks next to my house. You forgot, no, it's not what love is all about. Waiting for you to come around. I'll be spending my next few years lying awake, just think I'm making a big mistake. We were talk about our lives and what's to come. We would stay out late just to see the morning sun. I will break all the limits set for me 100 times. Or even if I fall down or lose hope, I won't forget the signs. Like it's what I have learned, and it shows that this is the road that I come home. Home, home, home. You say you want the best, but you're still searching for the worst. Stop all this unworthiness and start to fix what hurts. We were talk about our lives, but you know that we're both the same. I will break all the limits set for me 100 times. Or even if I fall down or lose hope, I won't forget the signs. Well, like it's hard, I've come this far, and I can't give back what I have earned. And it shows that this is the road. No matter where I come from, no matter what I have done, this is the road, this is the road. No matter where I end up, or the person I become, in my heart, this is the start. Well, like it's hard, I've come this far, I can't give back what I have earned. And it shows that this is the road, the road that I call home.
Awesome. That was fantastic. I would have like my canned applause going for you right now, but I don't have my iPad hooked up. So I needed all the inputs for the guitars and everything. So, but that was great. I mean, was that the first time you guys played that acoustic? Probably.
Yeah,
you did practice.
Yeah, we practiced, but that's the first time we showed the world an acoustic.
Yeah, no,
Yeah,
it was
definitely.
fantastic job, guys.
Thank you.
I'm super excited that you get to play 2 shows, with Red Jumpsuit. That one's next week.
October 15th.
October 15th. That's not at Marquee.
It is,
It is
yeah.
at Marquee. Okay, so that's at Marquee Theater in Colorado. And then the Forge isn't until November
Yeah,
in
November
Joliet,
6th,
right?
yeah.
November 6th, which is, today's the 6th.
Yeah.
So it's
a month.
a month from today that
Wow.
we're recording this. So awesome. So everyone can go to one of those shows. I know there's some other one. Oh, that's our
Hit us up for tickets.
Downers Grove. You're playing in Downers Grove, Illinois, as well.
Yeah, the 19th of November. So we're playing with Highwire,
Which
Drying Out, Honey Creek, Big Smile.
That's a
Yeah,
solid show,
yeah.
man. That is super solid. I've had Big Smile, I've had High Wire on the show. All great guys.
shout out both of their
And
those
Honey
guys.
Creek is well known in the Midwest too. So
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And Evolution. We played a show not too long ago there too, and it's a great venue and big stage, and
yeah,
had a really good time.
Talk
Yeah.
about another crazy thing from the past. John Teeter owns
yeah, right,
Evolution.
yeah.
So I'm
Yeah.
trying to explain to people there. I'm like, I know John like before, like as he's opening the Sound Lab, and they're like,
He's killing it.
how do you know him since then? That was like 15 years ago. I'm like,
Yeah, half
Started
of my
with one
life.
show,
Yeah.
or
Yeah,
one
and,
store.
and when I was first starting to play shows up towards like the Chicago suburbs and south side there, before Sound Lab, he had a place called JT Music, which was in Midlothian.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
So it's really cool, and John is someone that I need to have him on the show, and
you
like
do.
him and I talk once in a while. It's like, yeah, I still need to have you on just because
I would listen.
I think a lot of people would, just because so many people know John from over the years from all the different venues. And what I love about John is like he's just never given up.
oh, he's a testament to like
You
not
know?
really caring
I
what people
mean,
think and
Yeah,
just
because like
pushing forward.
because JT Music didn't work out, Sound Lab didn't work out, and then he just keeps going. And then Evolution, ever since he started that's been going really well for him. He's opening up stores. Not even in Illinois.
No.
He's got one in D.C. He just
Seattle, I
opened
think.
one up in New
I
York.
thought, yeah.
Yeah,
I don't know if
Yeah.
Seattle. I don't know,
Washington or something.
but Washington D.C.
Oh, Washington.
Yeah, so he's got one in D.C. He's got one in New York. I don't know if there's any more than that, but and there's 2 or 3 locations in Illinois. So I'm just super happy for him.
And it kind of proves, like you do stuff for so long, you never quit. It's
Yeah.
just like some things are important to you, and they're, important to you in your mind, and you can't stop.
Right.
And that we're, some people we see throughout town, we're back here, we're bumping into people we went to high school with, and they're like, oh my gosh, I've seen you guys on Facebook and Bluprint, you're still doing it? I'm like, yeah, dude, I love it. It's my passion. It's important to all of us, and it's something that we've put work into for over 10 years. It's like it would be a shame to just stop and give it up, So it's like, the goal isn't to get famous and make the riches and stuff. If that comes, that's awesome. But the goal is just, I have my best friends, play music with them, and it's fun. And
Yeah.
I have a kid. I have my own family life, and I get to, live my life and play this. I mean, what's better than that? So,
Yeah, I agree. To piggyback off of that, we kind of just like got to a point where we were having a conversation and looked at each other like, are we still having fun with this? And this was kind of like around the time when we lost our previous member, which, everything went fine with that. But we had a conversation like, are we still having fun with this? And the anonymous answer was yes. So like, it's nice to know that you're in it with dudes who are going to keep playing, we're going to keep going. Like I see Bluprint lasting like when we're in our 30s, like hopefully that happens, But
oh, definitely.
Well, I was gonna say you're not far from.
yeah.
yeah, no,
Only a
we're only
couple
2 years
years
out.
out.
Yeah.
Yeah,
gonna
the
say,
thing
'cause-
is like the whole time, like, when we've had tough times on the road or like financial problems in the band, we all, your emotions get the best of you. But then at the end of the day, we ask ourselves, like, what's the point of quitting?
Yeah.
Like, what does it really accomplish?
Because you're just gonna be doing. What are you gonna be doing instead?
Yeah, and exactly. What
Music.
if
What
we
about-
quit
what
this
else am I
band?
good
We're
at?
gonna keep playing. It's
You're
like-
you're just gonna start. You're just gonna start another band.
Yeah.
So just keep this one going.
It satisfies the itch that we have to perform and create. So,
Yeah.
and that's part of, you got to make room for the things you love. And like, whether it's a hobby or whether you want to make it a full-time aspiration, you got to make room for the things that, you love to do. So,
Absolutely.
And I think a lot of bands just underestimate. This isn't a knock on anyone. They just underestimate the work. It's like it's so much work, but if you're enjoying it, it doesn't feel like
It's only
work.
the tip of the iceberg.
Yeah.
You see the tip of the iceberg, but you don't know what's going on.
Well, it's
under.
just
You only
it-
see what's on media.
it's just
you know?
it's just about doing what you love. That's
well,
that's what
Jacques,
it comes
I
down
hear
to.
you on the valley, and I can tell that you love what you do. So.
Well, thanks, man. Yeah, I'm trying. I do love what I do. I get to talk to you guys, so You know.
So I work some part-time hours at a Dollar General, right? And we always have the Valley on constantly.
Okay.
And we're listening with my manager. I'm like, "You hear this guy? This is a good friend of mine, Jock Moore." And she's like, "Yeah, Taylor, I know. You told me 3 times already."
Oh my God, that's great. That's hilarious.
I can remember
Well,
like going in and bothering the hell out of Mr. Milner. Like, hey, can we play
Oh,
on your
yeah.
show? And I give him an at-riff demo, and he's like, no way.
Oh
yeah, I
man.
remember Romer Bakery days, man. We spoke to your brother in New York when we were on tour and stuff. We stopped
Yeah,
and had
he
some
came.
pizza with
He
him
came. Yeah, I was gonna say he came out
and
to a
reminisced
show.
over some
Yeah.
past times. And I live over by there, and I pass by it every day and drive in and look inside of it, and it's just like, man,
Yeah, Romer Bakery was one of the spots there for a while.
dude,
Yeah.
go there
You live
before,
across
before
from my
school,
old
dude.
house. That's
Yeah.
trippy. in
Go
itself.
get there, some cinnamon rolls, dude. They had wicked awesome breakfast.
Yeah, they had good
and,
stuff.
and
man.
pastries and stuff, man. And then
Yeah.
you go to school right there.
Yep.
Yeah, speaking of your brother, it was crazy. In New York, I was like really hoping he'd make it. Like the show was secondary. I really wanted your brother to show up. And I can remember playing and looking out and getting kind of emotional because it's like, that's one of the reasons I'm doing this.
Mhm.
Is
Yeah.
that guy
Feature.
right there, and you and
Yeah.
everyone who gave us a chance. I can remember your brother had this like 1985 like Buick or something, and he's like, we're paying him pennies to produce at-riff Sense songs.
Oh,
And-
yeah.
and for the 4 hours he's
20
there,
bucks.
the only thing that mattered in the world was us and what he was doing with us. And
Yeah.
like, if you looked at Riff Send before your brother produced our songs and after, totally different band.
Definitely. He taught us how to write like a song that made sense.
Yeah,
like,
write
we're-
hooks.
Yeah.
So I remember looking out. I remember giving him a big hug after, and I was like, "You're the reason I do this." And he, he's very humble. So
Yeah.
he like
Yeah.
he said thank you and I appreciate it, but there has to be
In
a
his
lot
own
of better
way.
reasons why you do this.
Yeah, there has to be better reasons, but that's still really it's really flattering, and it's just awesome to be a part of your story. you
Yeah.
know. So
Mm-hmm.
thank you for
Oh,
that.
tipping off with the whole Colorado thing, me and Taylor also played in a band called The Common Good. It was a metalcore
Yes.
band.
Yeah.
And that's kind of how where it started, Bluprint, right before Bluprint started. Me and Taylor and a couple guys, my buddy Michael, Jake, and Brad at the time. Taylor was the screamer, vocals, and I did singing and I played bass. And kind of moved out there to be in that band too when I was moving back. I moved back and forth twice from Colorado to Illinois after the fact in 2012 when I graduated in 2013. But yeah, we started that and kind of just had different views on what we wanted the band to go, and I went home one day and I busted out the acoustic and started jamming on it, and I wrote the answer. And then it just kind of like clicked. I'm like, this is fun for me. This is what I want to do. I can, write this stuff. And I'm like, who's going to be in the band? Do I do I hit up past members that I've done stuff with? Should I make something new? Should I, because you crave that, that energy that you get between other musicians, especially people, that you haven't played with before.
And it's super hard to find.
Mm-hmm.
And exactly.
So
And
I
I'm like,
finally talked Josh into letting me in.
there it is. Just call me out. But no, for real. Like on the real, it's just like we had a drummer come and track some stuff. He just wasn't vibing the music particularly, and he had his own project, 2 projects almost at the time.
I was gonna say every drummer is in at least 2 projects, if not
plays
more.
for
Not
his
me
church.
anymore. I left that behind me.
Yeah, but yeah, I'm like, yo, dude, you want to come play drums? And then I'm like, Tyler just having a kid, and I just had a kid. It's like, man, like, I feel like maybe he would enjoy this too. I was like, because we played guitar in At-Resent. He's like, do you want to come play bass? And then we hit up my buddy Keaton, that was our guitar tech for The Common Good at the time. So we hit him up, and he played guitar, and he had his own space. And they lived down in southern Colorado. So we went down there for a hot minute. I was in both when we started Bluprint and Common Good. So I was driving about 40 minutes twice a week to go down to do practice once, and then a couple days later we do Bluprint practice. So I mean,
We still have nightmares.
Yeah.
yeah, dude, driving 25. If you've been to Colorado and you're driving down through Castle Pines, Castle Rock towards the Springs, there's no lights on the road. Like, it's dark, super super dark. So late at night when we come down the mountain and everything and get on the highway and stuff, and it just be like, man, like, try hard not to fall asleep
Yeah.
because it was
Yeah.
so dark and
Yeah.
whatnot. But
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, it's funny because I wasn't playing music at all. Like, I was really caught up in my
So you got roped back
career
into
at
it.
the time, and like I knew everything that went into playing music, and I was like, I don't know.
It's just kind of crazy to
go
think
through
that I
it
whipped
again.
up an acoustic and wrote a song, and now we're here.
Yeah.
You know, and I feel like, you know, I'm sure that's how it all goes. You know, it starts with one little act,
Yep.
you know, and then it's just, you know, looking at the Spotify today, I'm just like, damn, dude, like, this is, you know, this is pretty cool.
Yeah.
Like, and then home, I didn't think it was going to get that much attention. And over the past, you know, 5-6 days, it just keeps going up and up and up. I'm like, man, like this is what it's all about. Like, you know, people search and search and search and like, why isn't anything happening? You know, why isn't this happening? Why isn't that happening? And you take a step back from that and just enjoy the moment, you know, and you know, it's gonna. I think Dave Grohl said it. You know, it's like if you're a good musician, your band's really, really good. Someone's gonna hear you and something's gonna happen. But if you're not, you know, it's just the way it is. You know, you got a good song, you got something good going, someone's gonna hear you and something's gonna happen. So you just gotta have faith and you gotta believe. So,
Well, you have to love what you do no matter what happens. That's really what it comes down to, because that's number one. You got to have that to fall back on, you know.
Because if you have the shit day and you're like, well, why am I driving an hour, 2 hours round
you have
trip
to
twice a
love it
week
no
and-
matter if you're playing for 2 people or 20,000 people. You got to love it.
Yeah.
You know.
and Catch 22, you know, you were around there when we first started doing this thing, you know, and like look at us now, you know.
Yeah.
You being all successful and doing the podcasts and stuff. and-
Thanks, man.
yeah, of course. And it's just life is crazy, man.
Yeah, it
Life is
certainly
crazy, you know.
But I'm glad we could finally, you know, see each other
In person is so much better than Zoom.
Yeah.
Dude.
Yeah,
I was
it
surprised
is.
you didn't have the tie on in the vest.
yeah, I that's
Gotta bring
right.
it back.
It's one of the I probably will. I used to wear a tie to the radio station every day, but I don't. Ever since I've become a dad, I don't really I really don't have the energy for that anymore.
It was like, hey, pick out a good tie. It's like, I don't have it.
Just one comment. I feel like everyone who does like podcasts over Zoom is very like too nice or very candid about like, oh, Zoom's the greatest, but it actually kind of sucks. Like being in person is so much better.
It's there's pros and cons
Because you can see
know.
your expressions,
but-
you know what I mean? Like, it feels like more of a natural conversation. It's like when you're over the
100%.
phone or something like that. You say something and you wait. You wait for them to say something, you
Yeah.
know?
yeah.
But
I
people
agree.
did what they had to do through all this
Yeah,
stuff. you know?
that's a blessing.
I'm
and
just happy
still
people
are.
kept
It's,
pushing.
and still are. It's still going on, you know. But so it's what Bluprint Band or dot band? People
Bluprint
can follow-
Band on YouTube. That's how you'll find us on YouTube is Bluprint Band. No E.
I was going to say there's no E in blue.
Yeah, Bluprint.band is our website.
Okay.
And then any social media, Facebook, Insta, it's /Bluprint.band.
Okay. Gotcha. I knew
There's a
there
lot
was-
of rappers and dancers and
Yeah,
things
we're
like
com-
that.
I know. Yeah. the
Yeah, we're
Bluprint.
waiting for the cease and desist, but we're gonna keep pushing until we get it. So
There you go.
It was like, how about Bluprint? He's like, I don't know. There's a bunch of.
Oh,
Like,
the
how about we just
Jay-Z
check out the
album?
yeah. And there's like an
Jay-Z
Empire. They had
album.
like a big dance group on the show Empire.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And,
yeah.
That ticked me off when I saw
Yeah.
that.
Saw that.
I got pissed.
Said
I was
in
like,
the
come
message
on,
thread, he's like,
dude.
every time people go and look us up, we're going to be a bunch of these
Oh
ladies.
man.
These ladies
So
dancing around.
make sure you look up Blueprints, you know, social media, Spotify, YouTube, all that fun stuff. And then after you do that, you know, make sure you follow Pop Punk and Pizza as well. Pop Punk Pizza Pod, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and poppunkpizzapod.com for merch. We've got a special 5th anniversary T-shirt available right now. If you use that promo code PopPunk, you'll get $5, or you get $2 off your order, not $5, but $2 off your order. And then, of course, please drop us a positive rating review on Apple Podcasts. It actually really does go a long way and help us out. So, but yeah, thank you guys. Blueprints.
Thanks for having
Thank
us.
you so
Thank
much
you.
for the
Guys.
opportunity to come by. And I'm really happy that we got to be the first in-person one back for you. It feels awesome.
Yeah,
So-
and I'm glad we got out of the way too after having all those malfunctions. And speaking of, I don't want to forget our wonderful sponsors, Pop Punk Takeout as well. Go to poppunktakeout.com and also Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok at Pop Punk Takeout. And you guys have a good night.
you
Thank
too.
you so much.
Thank you.